favorite, I think my favorite, well, my favorite hasn't been made yet. It's recorded, but it hasn't been made. And I'm realistic. I know that, you know, some are going to hit and some are going to miss. I was burning the candle at both ends for a while. That like probably around that time, I was like, all right, I need to slow this down. I need to reprioritize. I was like, oh, $20.
Yeah.
First of all, holy crap. There's so many lyrics in that song. Like I always tell people, like, if you're chasing the numbers, you're going to lose. He's been messaging me for like 4 years. I mean, I will say he's a hater, but he's hilarious. And so I've been with Fire Department Coffee now for coming up on 4 years, and it's been a blast. I'm really enjoying kind of making the content now, but I also know that, you know, I'm not going to be a firefighter forever. I think for the future for me is just to continue to do what I love, make the videos and the music, and yeah.
We're live. Yeah, we're doing it.
Show 43.
Show 43.
You got it, man.
I got nothing.
Hey, we got Firefighter Fenton in here today.
Hi,
Gracious
welcome.
enough, yeah. We threw him out an
Welcome.
invite. Gracious enough to come and come hang out with us for the day. So we got a couple questions for him. Very thankful to have him here. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, like I said, I just wanted to start the show off on a quick light note, just because I watched it this morning and it made me giggle.
Kick it off with some
So we're gonna
ha-has.
play it. This is Donald Trump, not on a podcast, not shooting the shit with one of his buddies. This is at a campaign rally in front of thousands of people.
Are you a politics guy? You follow politics? Do you?
I mean, I follow enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we all know the man says some weird things, but this might be the topper here. But here we go.
You know, he turned out to be one of the greatest golfers in the world. But Arnold Palmer was all man. And I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women.
Oh, boy.
But this guy,
Here he goes.
this is a guy that was all man. This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God.
Oh, come on, dude.
That's unbelievable. I had to say it.
That's unbelievable.
Dude,
the hog on this
unreal.
man,
Come
you should have
Yeah.
seen it.
It's got an absolute hog.
It's not the biggest. Some say mine's the biggest. I don't say that, but some people
But
do.
this is pretty nice. It's pretty nice. It's pretty good.
Unbelievable.
Probably top 3.
That was really good. That was awesome.
He's gonna be our new Trump
We need
guy.
to bring you in for the Trump.
Yeah.
Recurring character, boys.
He's good at it already. Oh man.
excellent.
Yeah, I thought that was amusing, and we needed to hear it.
So
That's amazing.
Brand Fenton, Daisy Mountain Fire.
Yes, sir.
20 years, man. You hit 20 this year.
I did. Hit
Congrats,
20 in
dude.
March. Thank you.
Congratulations.
It's a good feeling, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're right behind you. I'm right at 17. Johnny hit 17.
Nice.
I got 4 years.
Adam's got 4.
Yeah, there you go.
He's,
I would literally kill myself if I had 4 years on the job.
Thank you for that, John.
dude, wait until you hear some of the shit he's got to deal with at his station.
Speaking of shit,
Anyway.
I have the
Yeah.
vocabulary term I coined yesterday.
He wants to know if he can run this as a new
it came out-
term.
This is
I'll be the judge of
This
that.
is an original.
I'm the king of terms.
So had a fire yesterday, had to poo the whole time.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I can't wait to get back, take a post-fire shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call it the adrenaline dump. Right? Pretty good.
I mean, I feel like that's the urge when the tones kick off, but like not.
Well, no, because you get back to the station, all your juices
Yeah.
are flowing, and now you got a little time to
take it
poo.
easy. Juices, come on.
The adrenaline is worn off, and now you have the adrenaline dump.
Yeah, the adrenaline
Okay.
dump. You
All right.
clear the system.
I'll allow it.
Heard it here
I'll
first.
allow it.
Fireside
The boys
original.
allow it. All right. Yeah, man. So 20 years. Recently a captain. Last 2-3 years.
Yeah, almost 3 years. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What was that? So I'm kind of in the same boat. So I'm at 17, and I'm on our promotional list right now. It's not a big deal to me, but one of the things I do consider all the time is like that seniority reset. How does that work with you guys? Did it affect you the same way? Was that anything that like even crossed your mind in that whole?
For really the only thing for like seniority reset would just been like trying to get holidays off. It just doesn't happen.
It doesn't affect you guys as much.
Yeah, I mean, I still like for me, I'm lower, so I ended up at our busiest station, which
Sure.
I mean, you guys know Daisy, it's not the busiest, but 142, you're gonna get up, you're not gonna sleep, and it's busier, so we average around 10 calls or so a day.
Oh, that's good.
So,
good
but
pace.
it's
Yeah.
and it's not bad. We get up a couple times, but yeah, like getting Christmas since we do 48.96.
Sure.
We've had Christmas the last 3 years because there was a leap year in there, so that sucked.
Yeah.
So,
that
and
does
I'm
suck.
just like, all right, I'm gonna get it off this year, and then
You got kids?
you put in for
Nope.
it. Yeah, I have 4
Yeah.
kids.
Four,
yeah.
4 kids.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yep.
How old are they?
They are 5, 6, 8, and 10.
So you need Christmas off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
So
yeah.
yeah.
That
Do you guys
sucks.
do a pretty good job, or like as far as helping each other out? Like obviously you having kids, can you guys do shift trades? Will you guys cover your stuff?
Yeah, shift trades. That's one of the things though, is like, like being a newly promoted captain. I got a new crew. We're all, trying to
Yeah.
be solid together. And I got guys that have young kids and they're low seniority.
Yeah.
And I'm
Trying
like,
to help them out.
so, well, not only that, but I'm like, I feel guilty if I was to take it off, and they're just like, sweet. And,
Where's Cap?
yeah, where's Cap? Oh, he's with his family. I guess I'll just hang out here. And,
Yeah.
So, but we have the families up, which is nice.
Yeah.
So we'll make it. But yeah, we do a lot of, especially if you can't get, because they have the max number of people off. So
Sure.
if you can't get that time off, they'll give you like a few hours off.
That's cool.
Guys will hold over.
Yeah. Take some partials.
That was like Coda last year with Halloween. Like I had my son at the time was 9, and Belly's got a younger kids, and we were trying to get like a partial on Halloween, and Coda had a partial. Like, and he didn't even tell us. He's just had Halloween off. Like, dude,
His
your
kids are all older.
Your kids are teenagers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what do you?
Yeah.
Come on. He's like, what are you talking about? I put in my time.
I know.
No shame.
There's, and most guys are pretty cool, but there's a few, like last year, I let a guy know, hey, I'm coming in right at Christmas. I'm coming in right at 8.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting up early. We're dinner with the fam. Coming in right at 8. And it's like, I get there and he's like, Charles, kid, see you later. I'm just like, dude, your kids are like 20.
Yeah.
Like,
Merry
what are we doing?
Christmas.
Yeah.
Not even that. Like what's the difference in getting home at 7:30 and 8? Like your
Yeah.
kids are up, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. There's.
but
Never mind. I'm not going to get into a couple
So
personalities.
I had a question. So just speaking about me being with Daisy and talking about that stuff, I'm curious, what is the Daisy stigma of surrounding cities? Like, is there any cities that you was like, God, not these guys again? Maybe you don't have to name them by name,
Oh, yeah.
but like, do you guys have? Because for us, there's certain maybe units,
I'm going to say it's every station.
at least where we work.
Not so much
close
Daisy
to where
though, because we
work.
don't run with Daisy.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah, we don't run a ton with. We run with Scottsdale, we run with Phoenix, we have Rural. That's typically the rules where we run into stuff. And it used to be. We're finding out now, like the cities that we run in that suck, we're just starting to take them over.
Yeah,
we used to
better.
run with Black Canyon City,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and then
Annex 'em.
and then we just took them over because it was a shit show.
weren't they an
Yeah.
all volunteer department?
No, so they had like, I think they had 2 full-time guys, and then
Oh,
they had
okay.
volunteers and reserves that would come up there quite a bit. So it was a lot of guys that wanted to get fire. They would go up there. They'd become a reserve because they got to do. It was pretty much free reign. The chief that was up there, he's rough.
Well, I'm sure if you're up there and you get something, like you're up there by yourselves for a while too.
Oh yeah. And that's exactly like when I first started acting. After I passed the test, I acted for a couple years, and I was up there. Like I had a year and a half temp spot up there, and it is the Wild West up there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Your second due truck is 25 minutes at the quickest.
Dude, that's wild.
So yeah, you're
Working,
especially as an
boy.
acting captain.
That can be good. It can be bad.
It can be terrible.
It can be really bad.
really bad.
When I first started up there, so we were kind of in an in-between phase where so they needed service now, so we took over, but the dispatch was still rural.
Oh.
And that was basically like a guy, in some office somewhere with a cell phone or whatever. And like, yeah, exactly. literally, you're like, and we're like 143 alarm, 143 alarm. And then you picking up your cell phone, like, hang on, pick up the cell phone.
Oh, boy.
Hey, I'm clearing you.
Yeah.
What? Oh, and the guy's like,
You hear the
turn it
recliner
back
feet.
on, yeah.
You hear the feet kick in the recliner. And
Exactly. So, it was just a nightmare. But like, yeah, you definitely, especially as an actor, and you get up there and you get into something.
Yeah.
You had some times to make decisions, and you'd be like, oh, maybe I'll make a different one now. And you make a different one, and the best part was nobody could hear it. So.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't hear anything on the radio until they were at least 10 miles out.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
you
you're coming
can't
up to
shit.
17, and all the mountains, you couldn't hear anything. But now that we're on automatic aid with the system, we put all the towers and everything in there. It's night and day difference, and just there's no delay.
Yeah.
Like we got kicked out to it was like a fire alarm indication, or whatever, and we get to this house, and as we pull up, I see smoke coming out the front door. I was like, oh, okay, so.
1 in a million.
Yeah,
Yeah, finally.
Real one?
Finally.
yeah. So
The
we-
guys in the back seat are pulling their bunkers
Oh,
on
yeah.
because they didn't fucking put them
heck
on.
No, yeah, we're like, oh shoot, get your brush pants off, get your structure stuff on. So, you know, I balance it, and they come back and they're like, your balance is Rescue 146 and Battalion 141. I was like, no, like I need like a 3-in-1, like you know.
Huh?
I need a working fire balance.
Yeah, and just the
Send more chiefs, please.
yeah you know, like it wasn't common up there either, so they're like, now when
What
you
is
say
that?
3-in-1, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like 3 what's?
I don't have time to explain this.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
busy.
No.
Yeah.
So it was it's like ordering a la carte. All right, I want 3 engines and there's
Yeah.
no hydrants, so I need 3
Yeah.
water tenders and all, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty lucky. We don't have to deal with the lack of hydrants or lack of water thing in most areas. And
Hardly ever.
99.9% of what we got. So.
Yeah, most like New River doesn't have it. Black Canyon has some spots that have them, but
Yeah.
the system is easily overwhelmed. So
can
we
see
pretty much
that.
have tenders, but like Anthem, and we run into Phoenix a fair amount
Yeah.
on the west side and south, and then Cave Creek. It's all most of that has hydrants and stuff too. So
I'm trying to think, like, the only places, there's a couple county islands in the city of Phoenix, and then like the river bottom's the only place I've ever had problems getting a plug. Like, all right, this is 1,000-foot plus lay. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
fucking sucks.
Yeah, but no, as far as the other cities that we run with, actually we've got pretty good relationships, and we don't we do our best to try and handle everything that we can without, you know,
Yeah.
and obviously it is
Yeah.
what it is. So
I would say one of the things that we're definitely thankful. So we're at Deer Valley and Tatum.
Okay.
So where we are, obviously during brush season, one of the things that we are thankful for is, as much as we joke and kind of talk trash, doing the whole department thing, I will say that we are very thankful when Scottsdale and Daisy come for like our brush fires, because you guys, I know you do wildland, you're a wildland guy, but when you guys show up and take over or assist with that stuff, like, man, it is night and day difference. Like, clearly you guys are very good at that stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, that's one thing we do. I mean, because a large port, I mean, we're 270 square miles, and a large portion of that is like urban interface or just open land. So it's I mean, it's a different tactic, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
And yeah, I just don't want to do it.
Hey, some guys love it though. I mean, some guys
do,
absolutely enjoy it, and it's its own culture.
yeah, I enjoy it. I wouldn't say I love it, but
Okay.
I definitely I mean I enjoy going out on like going out on like deployments. Where you could, like I went in 2017 and went to Napa, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
It was incredible for 2 weeks, and it's like, and I like to hunt and camp and stuff, so it's like you're camping. And you're
It's
doing-
almost
and
right there,
and
getting paid.
It is different, and I know the wildland guys, like they, you know, there's obviously a big rub there. The actual wildland guys, you know, the hot shots and stuff like that, and like, I mean, it's no lie, like structure wildland guys are different than like
Straight wildland,
federal guys.
Yeah.
It's different. We you know, we come with our trucks, and we'll do some hiking, but it's, you know, for us, we have our times where we're digging line, but we don't just go out in the middle of nowhere, you know.
Get on.
But,
What?
No, I just
I was gonna say, so
bad.
being Daisy and being on for 20, which did you go through a Phoenix Academy when you got hired?
No, so when we got hired, so I started out there as a reserve in 2003.
Okay.
Yeah, and then in 2004 we did kind of an in-house, basically.
Oh, okay.
In-house academy, and then in 2006 it was weird. It was all just funding, because like guys that got hired out there in like 98, 2000, 2001 all went to ESI. They all went to the academy, and then it was like funding. The big thing is Rural Metro left Anthem. So they hired 12, and they didn't have the budget to send 12 guys through. And then we opened another station, and that was my group, and it was another 12. So that we just did an in-house academy.
That's pretty cool.
And then in 2006, we've been now like we had a change in the leadership, and like no, and everybody was happy. I think that was a real big step in the right direction for us completely. Where, I mean, we've had the nickname of Crazy Mountain, Lazy Mountain, whatever, all the different things, and I think that was where it was a shift from like, oh, that's not a stepping stone. That's actually a legit department, and we got our reputation improved, the service improved, and I mean, we're going. Yeah, we hit what is it now? Phoenix, Glendale, and there's 3 of them. I forget what the regional ones are that they're approved now for automatic aid.
Chandler Gilbert?
Yeah,
Maybe
Mesa, maybe.
Or maybe Mesa.
something like that,
somewhere out east.
Gilbert's got a legit nice academy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
real
It's
nice.
huge.
Yeah.
We did a EV class there.
Yep.
We went down there
Some
and
hazmat shit out there.
dude, it was beautiful.
Oh yeah, it is.
Why don't we get that kind of shit? Like, they have like nice props, like they have cool shit. Like, the biggest city Well, fifth biggest city in the country, for fuck's sake. Like,
Yeah.
Gilbert has nicer shit than us.
Yeah.
Come on. Pisses me off.
Money.
We should have it.
We should. We don't.
Yeah.
2 million people living in Phoenix. Come on.
Speaking of culture shift, when that all changed, your current chief now, thoughts, feelings?
Great.
Okay.
Chief Tobe, I mean, it's
Be honest.
Yeah.
Whatever. You can say
Tell
whatever
the
you want.
truth.
This is a safe
Oh,
space.
No, he's been great. He's definitely the previous chief was also he was fantastic. Mark Nichols had basically a lifetime in the fire service. Both of them have. Definitely two different styles.
Yeah.
Nichols, great dude. They're both great guys, but Nichols was just more. He was a slow play. He kind of play the long game, slow play. Tobin's more of a right now move, so he's just more aggressive. And it's kind of cool to see both sides of it because you do see that both ways do work.
Sure.
You know, so
Yeah.
But he lives nearby me, so I figured
does
I'd
he?
ask.
Oh,
just,
does he?
Just take a shot. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's been
Just for
great.
fun.
He's been there since I think it was. He came in February of 2020, so that was a great time to pop in.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Hi,
oh,
welcome.
sweet,
Yeah.
COVID. Yeah, exactly.
I didn't have a lot
yeah.
of interactions with Tobin when he was on. I mean, every now and then when he was a South deputy, just rove me everywhere and never get a temp somewhere. That sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that was his thing. People were like, hey, he doesn't want you getting comfortable as a rover. I'm like, that is the dumbest fucking
Yeah.
thing I've ever heard in my life. What do you mean you
Awesome.
don't want a firefighter being comfortable
Yeah.
in a job that may kill him?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to get comfortable.
I have my own stories, but I'll share them.
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, that I was just curious about the academy deal. Obviously having him, and then one of the things I saw just looking through some of your stuff is that in May, was it May of last year that you did the Auckland
That was
Sky
this year.
So you just did the Sky Tower
Just did
Challenge.
the Sky Tower Challenge.
What
Yeah.
was that like?
Oh,
Oh, first of
man.
all, tell us what it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
sorry.
so yeah,
Start there.
so in what was it, like December of maybe it was like October of 23, I got contacted by this guy named Tony Scott, goes by Scotty, and he is an Auckland firefighter. He works at the Auckland Airport in New Zealand, and he started like 20 years ago. He started this charity stair climb to raise money for blood cancer and leukemia in New Zealand. And pretty cool. It's an awesome story. Him and I think he said there was like maybe between 8 and 12 or so of them that did it. And they had this idea that they were going to climb this Sky Tower. Sky Tower is the tallest building in New Zealand. And what is it? It's like 1,063 steps or something like that is what the things are. So and it's weird, man, because it says it's 51 floors, but when you do the math, that comes out to a lot more.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah,
that
it sounds
doesn't
like a lot
make
more.
Hang
And
on a
when you,
second.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was like, I'm like doing the math. I'm like, I know the numbers are different. It's a different country, but I mean, inches are still inches, right? You know what I mean?
Stairs
Or whatever.
are the same here, right?
Exactly. But yeah, and that was one thing. I'll talk about that in a little bit about kind of funny. But anyway, it's very tall, and so they raised like $1,400 these guys that year for it, and it has gradually gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And this year alone, it was $1,960,000 just this
Damn,
year.
nice.
So over the last 20 years, they've raised, I think the total was like 18 million or something.
Oh,
like that.
dude,
15 or
that's
18.
awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so yeah, he reached out and said, hey, big fan. You got a lot of fans out here in New Zealand, which is always so crazy. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
putting
like,
a,
what?
Yeah, putting
Yeah.
a
That
freaking
must
fake
be wild.
Yeah, putting a fake mustache on my face and making these ridiculous videos is taking me places I never thought it would. But like, yeah, he's like, you got a lot of fans. Would love to have you come out. Would love to have you if you're interested. If you could do the challenge as well. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna not.
Yeah.
You know, but
Not
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then he said, and then they do like a fundraising banquet after that night. And he's like, I'd like to have you MC the event, and then and then you can just do whatever you want. But so I was like, yeah, I'm in. And so we went out there in May. We were there for 2 weeks, and it was pretty cool because brought the whole family. So we just made a
Family trip.
full on
That's
trip about
perfect.
it.
That's a badass
yeah,
trip.
it was awesome. And so yeah, we flew into Auckland, and I mean we got in super early in the morning. It was pouring down rain, and they had a big like Sprinter van that they pulled up right in the Ambo entrance. Like we didn't have to do they had people getting our bags for us, and we
That's
like
what I'm talking about.
we were undercover the
Like
whole
celebrity
time.
status,
Dude, it
man.
was I was
Yeah.
like, this is crazy. And like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, it was literally they're like treat me like I'm like, dude, I was like, I drive like a shitty Dodge Dakota, dude. Like I'm not But no, they brought us in and we got in there. Super cool. I mean, the most hospitable people, super friendly. They were all firefighters. They brought us in. They had a couple guys that like took the week off, and literally one dude, like his side gig is doing tours around Auckland, drives tour buses. So he's giving us like the behind the scenes week of
awesome,
Auckland.
dude.
That's cool.
All the
Especially
tours.
for your family. Like that's a cool deal.
And it was. And he's like taking us here, and I know where the best ice cream shops are and all this stuff. And we're seeing all the sites. He's explaining all the history, all this stuff. And then there was another guy who was the probie at the station. He's like, I got another guy because Greg got to go do a tour. And it turned out it was the probie. And this poor guy, his name was Steve. Awesome dude. But he brought like his 2-year-old, tagged the 2-year-old along, and like he forgot the diaper bag. And his daughter's like,
Fucking
walking
booter.
around with a giant load. She's got a giant load in her pants, and I'm like, brother, I've got 4
we can
kids.
stop
We can
someplace.
stop.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
We just passed a Target.
So, but it was amazing. But anyway, got to do that, and then so we did the climb, and
Did you wear the mustache when you did they make you do it in character?
No, not I did it in. So after the climb, I was in character the rest
For
of
the MC
yeah.
part?
Well, so basically in the morning. So what they do is, dude, it's amazing. So it's a huge deal. Like it's more than just the fire service. Now I think there was 1,100 firefighters that climbed, and it's people from all over the world that come out there. There was 3 of us that were from the U.S. A guy from L.A. County, a girl from Seattle, and then me, and then they have people from everywhere. So it's first thing in the morning, and they have different squads, and squad 1 is like the badass.
The shit, yeah.
Like we're saying like the guy who got first did it in 8 minutes and 20 seconds.
Oh shit!
Holy
And this is
shit.
turned out on air. He
Just ran the whole thing.
oh dude he
Wow.
sprinted. Yeah.
Well done.
Oh my God.
He said he goes.
That's a sprint
Oh
up
yeah.
the stairs.
He said he goes like I saw him down in the. So you start out like probably a half a mile down the road in the basement of a parking garage, and so we're all there, and this guy's like, he's like, yeah, I'm going for sub 10 minutes, and I'm like, sub 10, all right, and then he
Good day, mate.
yeah, dude, yeah. And he did it in sub. I mean, like he's 8 minutes and 20
that's
seconds.
wild.
But yeah,
Wow.
so what you do is you start off at the bottom, you come out of this parking garage, and you just walk down the road, and you're wearing your gear, or whatever, and the streets are lined with people. And they're clapping, they're cheering, they're
Really?
taking pictures.
Wow.
There's cameras out there for like the media, all this stuff.
Whoa.
And then you get to the base of the Sky Tower, and they have the Maori people out there, and they do a haka. They have like a bigger. It's almost like like if you ever been to Hawaii, and you've seen a luau.
Yeah.
So there's probably a dozen or so people out there, and they're dressed in the traditional Maori stuff, and they do a haka. And
Dude.
first of all, the seasons are flipped.
You just get amped up.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately.
It's like
now
a
you-
college
now you
game
gotta
day
finish the
walkout.
climb.
Dude.
Oh yeah.
You're not gonna not do the climb
Yeah.
now.
So yeah, you do that, and then the climb actually starts in the basement. So then you go 2-3 floors below ground, and then you start, and and they have this big screen, and it's like 3, and it counts down from like 10, and it's like 3, 2, 1, and that first dude, I mean, seriously, gone. And you go up the 3 steps, and then you come outside, and you run around the base of the tower and go back in, and then you just up all the way, and yeah, that dude, like, it was cool. So my family got to see me start, and then they rode the elevator to the top, and they got up there, and my wife.
Where is he?
Oh,
2
yeah.
hours later.
Yeah. 2 hours later. Yeah, seriously. But yeah, that dude came blown in there. My wife's like, I thought he was gonna die, but they have so many people up there because when you come in, they rip all your gear off
yeah.
of you and the whole deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did not do it in 8 minutes. I think I did it in like 20, which they said is average, which I was happy with.
respectable time.
Dude, that's
Yeah, I was-
amazing still.
Yeah.
I was happy with it, and I did it. I didn't run out of air. I think I had my gauge was at 0. I mean, the
Yeah.
needle was at 0. I had the
It hadn't
vibler
started
going
sucking
on.
yet.
into your face.
Dude, yeah, the last stretch of stairs, so they're double lengths on the last one. So
Yeah.
I can just see, I'm like, all right, that's it. And at the bottom of that, I take a breath and I feel like and I was like,
the first one.
yeah. And so I was like,
About 2 more of those.
yeah. I was like, I'm gonna skip my and just and then come through, and they're like, and so when you come out, you go around the top, and they have this big, huge observation deck, and you can see over the whole city,
Incredible.
which is awesome. And I come around, and I'm coming up to the little gate, the finish gate or whatever, and they got all these people out there, and they're like, all right, I'm like,
Can't breathe.
yeah, and then
Out of air.
they just pull it off.
Take
and I'm
mine.
like, so my goal was to do it without running out of air, and I did it without
Nice.
running out of air. So it was
Dude,
cool.
that's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, and it was an amazing thing.
So I remember reading that, or seeing that your post that you had a goal. Your goal was just to raise 10,000.
Yeah.
What did you end up hitting?
I got just under 10. I think
Okay.
I was at like $8,900.
Close enough.
Which they said they were, and which he said, so, and it was kind of cool. They do a bunch of different awards. And so like I got an award for raising the most funds internationally, which I was surprised. It's surprised, but also it makes sense that it's hard to raise
Sure.
a lot of
awareness
money for
outside of
international funds
Yeah.
for, especially because there's so many great causes here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. It was really
That's
cool.
awesome,
So,
man.
yeah, and but those guys, I mean, they fundraise all year long, and like
Yeah.
Scotty, him alone, I think he raised like 60 grand. And these guys, they go to the Auckland airport and they have a stair stepper, and it's like this guy made it. It's all made out of wood, and it's just this
Really?
Turns on its own.
It just turns on its own, and this guy's wearing they're all completely turned out on air, and they just have a guy. It's almost like fill the boot, and they have a guy out there, and they just fill it.
Awesome.
And they do it all day.
Why
Dude,
did he make like this is 2024?
Just
We don't
wild.
have to make-
Yeah, I know.
they sell them everywhere, commercially available.
Yeah, and that was a cool thing was so they had this guy made one years ago and they've been using it. Well, then a company that makes those donated one, and so they had the two of them there. And then
Yeah.
that was a cool thing was people could buy raffle tickets, and they raffled that one that they were using.
Oh, that's
at
cool.
The airport.
The original.
So, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, it was really cool.
Sweat stained.
Yeah.
Soaked into
It
the
just
wood.
drip.
So, and it made I think it made a couple $100,000 just in raffle tickets for that. So pretty wild.
Wonder how much sweat like is absorbed in that wood.
It's all expanded.
I saw
The
this.
boards don't they just click.
Well, I saw this. Just maybe I saw this one thing a long time ago. It's from Japan. It was, I guess, there was some brutal like samurai battle in this place, and the boards are soaked in blood. To this day, you can see like all the blood
wow.
staining in
They
the
were
boards.
auctioning them off.
No,
Oh. I don't know. That'd be kinda cool.
Japan doesn't sell
In.
out their culture. They're
Yeah,
not
that's
American.
True. That's true. Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. I remember seeing that. I would. This is one of the things I wanted to ask you is just reading through that tower challenge looked pretty sweet.
It was an amazing, dude. It was an amazing opportunity, amazing experience. I got to meet so many people, and then when I got done, like, just so I went up to my room because it was at the hotel where
Yeah.
we were staying. So I went up to my room, took a shower, cleaned up, and then came back out. And, I'm in person.
Yeah.
I'm in character now. I'm like, hey, you doing, moron? Whatever. Doing my whole thing, talking to people, and like I was blown away. Like I don't know, have you guys ever been to FDIC
No.
before? So so I go to FDIC every year, and it's crazy. Obviously, that's the largest concentration of my target audience, if you will.
Sure.
So, like,
Sure.
I mean, literally, like, it's overwhelming the amount of people that I get to meet and take pictures with and shake hands and have conversations, and it's awesome. And I was not expecting that. I didn't think
And is that in New York?
so. No, FDIC's in Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Okay.
Yeah, and so when I went there, it was just like Indy. I was like, this is crazy. I'm on the other side of the planet, and I'm aligned to take pictures and say hi. And it was so cool to just meet people. And then there was another guy that did a haka down there because a girl on his crew died like the day before from cancer.
Oh, geez.
Oh my god.
And so he did a haka. So there's a lot of different hakas. There's
Yeah.
like obviously one for battle, and there's one for like as like a ceremonial thing for graduations, funerals, things like there's all kinds of things. So he did kind of a tribute to her, which was really cool because it had her gear laying there and a picture of her, and he did it, and it was just right on the street corner, and just like when they start doing, I mean, this guy is so loud, and
Yeah.
and
I'm sure everybody stops.
Everybody
Yeah.
stops and just watching it. It was really cool. So getting to do that, and then meeting kids and saying hi to them, and that's one thing that I love too is that like the comedy connects with not only
Yeah.
firefighters but also the kids and the family and all that kind of stuff. So
It'd be weird to like just be in character. Like
It's
I don't know,
weird.
that would be a weird thing.
it is weird. And like I'm not necessarily in character, more or less. Like occasionally people will be
Yeah.
like, so the voice is not real to you? I'm like, yeah. They're like, are you even a firefighter? I'm like, I am actually a firefighter.
Yeah.
But no, I more or less have it on just to take photos of people.
Okay.
Sure.
And so yeah.
So speaking of the mustache,
Yeah.
so I remember kind of going into there's so many questions I have for you. I remember, I think the first thing we saw was I'm Salty and I Know It.
Okay.
And I think that was kind of our first introduction. And that was probably, I mean, that video's, I think, 12 years old.
Yeah, that was 2012. Yeah.
So that was like our first introduction. I remember watching it at the station,
Yeah.
and we were cracking up like it was hilarious. But then like we saw My Knee Hurts Now after that,
And that one was actually before My Knee Hurts Now was.
Which-
Oh, was it earlier?
Yeah. it
which
was
features
yeah.
your wife.
Yep.
And
Amazing.
you guys,
It's my
and so
personal
she's in
favorite.
so many of your videos, which is so cool that you have the support
She
of that.
hates every minute of it.
But she does it. That's what
She
matters.
does, yeah.
Trooper.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing that, and in our department, this was a time where like MySpace was still around,
Yeah.
and social media was brand new, and we had guys that were going through the academy that, I mean, were rumored to have been on the chopping block to get fired because they like took pictures of themselves and posted them on social media,
Right,
and it was such a taboo thing. And then we see My Knee Hurts Now video, and it's every fireman's dream to kind of poke fun at some of the calls we go on, but especially at that time, like that was so taboo. Like you didn't know if you were going to get in trouble if you talk trash or put something on social media. I mean, you couldn't even take a picture of yourself in your gear,
Right.
And here you were making these hilarious parody videos and songs, and it was like everybody was like, "Yes, thank you, that is awesome." How did you not get fired?
So what? So yeah. So in 2011 was when I made the My Knee Hurts Now. So my department. So Daisy does a banquet every year. You know, it's like a firefighter banquet. It's a charity event that we do, and it. You know, they have the firefighter of the year and all the different things. And it was. They were cool events, but they would get really boring really quick. You know, and there wasn't a whole lot else going on. And so we were like, it felt like the event was dying, and we're like, we've got to do something to shake this up. And I've always loved comedy. I've always loved music and video production, all kinds of stuff. I've been doing things since like high school, making like most of my projects were like, can I make a video? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I'd make a video.
Were you a drama kid?
I was not.
Okay.
I was not a drama kid. No, I just
Hard no.
Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't mean
Absolutely
no,
not a
I just,
drama.
he's so good at it. I was like, I don't.
How
maybe
gay were you in high school?
No, I was busy hanging out with chicks. Thanks, though, man.
It's getting laid, man.
Yeah, but no, I was not a drama kid. No.
Just want to make that real clear.
Yeah. So, but no, I ended up making the video and was like, all right. So back up a little bit. Guy, I would always make jokes, whatever. Guys would always be like, "You missed your calling, man." They're like, "You should have been a comedian, this and that." And I had heard that, and not like sound like a douchebag, but people had said it to me before. I had my family members that said that stuff. They're like, "You missed your calling," and I remember telling my wife, like, I can only hear that so much before I start to question, like, did I miss my calling?
Yeah, is that a wrong decision?
And I always wanted to do something in video, film, anything, TV, whatever.
Yeah.
Voice acting, anything. And like social media was just coming on the map. Like I started my YouTube page in 2007, just making random videos, but I was like, I kind of saw like, oh, there's a big audience here. I don't necessarily need to go to Hollywood to do this. Maybe I'll just try and make some videos. So, I said I could make a funny video for the banquet, maybe. And everyone was like, funny video. I'm like, just bear with me.
Little did they know.
Yeah.
Stand by.
But then I was like, shoot, I put the pressure on because I had no idea what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And we were literally on the rescue coming back from a call, and it was the knee pain that's been, chronic for,
Amazing.
3 months.
Dude.
And now now it's, 1:30 in the morning, and they're like, I want to go now. It's like, what changed? Oh, nothing. Sweet. Appreciate you calling us.
Quite literally.
Oh, nothing.
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
he's just taking notes as he's going.
So we were coming back, and literally the I Need You Now was like a big song then, and it came on the radio, and I was just like, it's 1:15, calling 911 because my knee hurts now. And my
Wow,
partner
so
starts,
organic how that kind of came
he
about.
just started,
That's awesome.
Yeah, he just started busting up laughing. I was like, dude, I think that's the video I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm
You
like,
get that feeling, you're like, it's a hit. You get that feeling of, oh shit.
No, it was, dude. And I came back and literally I like Googled the lyrics and was right next to it. Just I finished the lyrics in like 20 minutes and was like, this is it. Went home, recorded it. My wife, she's an amazing singer. That's how we actually met, was doing music. And she agreed. I don't think she knew what she was signing up for. But she agreed to sing with me. And then I was like, I need you to play a character.
Yeah.
Like, you're a system
whoa,
abuser.
whoa, whoa.
You're this and that, She was like, oh, okay, yeah. And she's like, oh, it's just for your department. Not a big deal. Whatever.
Yeah.
Made the video. And it was one of those sayings you edit it 1,000 times. And then I get done and I'm like, I don't even know if this is funny anymore.
Yeah.
I've seen it so many times. And then I start getting like, I don't think this is funny. What am I doing? And she's like,
anxious. Like, I don't know if I want to show this to anybody.
Literally, yeah. And so it's just like, we put it in the banquet and I'm just like, oh, here we go. Play it. And the place erupted. And I was like, holy. And by the next morning, it was like almost 1 million views. I was like,
Oh, shit.
What did I just
Yeah.
fucking
That's
do?
That's
awesome,
badass.
man.
And that was the thing is because to answer your question about like how we just had zero clue that it was going to do that because
Yeah.
it was only on YouTube for the guys who couldn't come to the bank because
Sure.
they were on
Oh,
shift.
no shit.
And then so because you could see the Daisy Mountain uniform,
Yeah.
everything, and it just blew up, and it was like, oh my god! And then it was like, all right, we got to take it down.
Yeah.
So we took it down, and I didn't understand social media. Like I didn't realize you could just unpublish it. So
Well,
like,
and it
no,
wasn't like
delete,
it was
you know.
now, where every kid's on.
Yeah.
It. No, like I'm sure you
Yeah.
probably didn't know like what was what.
Oh yeah, not at all. So I just deleted it because the chief was like, I think everybody was kind of like, shit.
Oh,
you know?
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, delete.
We're getting so much
This is
trouble.
an internal video.
So deleted it, and then I mean everybody I think that just made it go even crazier.
Sure,
Just people
yeah.
like, where's that video? Where's that video?
Yeah.
And then I was talking to Nichols, our chief, and he's like, you know what? He's like, I don't think you, because really it started out, it was pressure from the union, was like, hey,
Yeah.
like, I mean, we're talking to everybody. Like, I'm getting phone calls from PFFA, 493, our local, all like, hey, we're fighting for pensions. This is one step forward, two steps back. Like, what
Sure,
are we doing?
damn.
And I'm like, that wasn't this was just
Yeah.
you know,
Something
we
funny
deserve
for a
laugh,
guy.
something-
Just boost morale. Yeah.
Exactly. And then Nichols was like, you know what? I don't see it that way. He's like, we deserve to laugh. He's like, you guys are running these
Absolutely.
monotonous calls that are
That's
bullshit,
awesome,
you know?
dude.
And
It's
he's
good for
like,
him. Yeah, that's fucking
That's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
He's like, the only people we need to keep happy is our board. If our board says no, then we'll take it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, throw it back up. So I throw it back up. And then that was when like I got more like PFFA, whatever, call down, pull it back down. Well, at that point, once it went down the first time, before it went down the second time, people were screen recording it, doing this
Yeah.
whole thing. It had
Yeah.
popped
Passing
up
it around
on,
there,
It's out there
on their
forever
own.
now.
Yeah.
yeah, it had popped up on a bunch of different like publications, like fire engineering and Statter 911 and all these big things. And I'm like, holy crap, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And then so it went down, and then it was down for like a couple of years. That's
Okay.
why it popped up after I'm salting it out, because it was down for a couple of years, and then
Mm-hmm.
finally I was just like, so a social media policy came out of that.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have one.
Sure.
So social media came, the Fenton policy came out of that one. And then,
Awesome.
And then I was like, Chief always had like an open door policy, and I was just like, hey Chief, so it's out there, like it's not on my platform, but it's on a million other
Yeah.
platforms. Like,
May as well just put it back up at this point. Own it.
I'm like, are you okay if I put it up there? Because at least when it's on my page, I can control the narrative of
Yeah.
like, this is what it is, and this is definitely what it's not. Because
Yeah.
people were on the other pages, oh, this is what it, and and you can't do anything about it. They're
Yeah.
going to say whatever it's going to
Sure.
be, and
Sure.
so he's like, all right. He's like, yep. He's like, you know what? And just from here on out, he's like, just no department identifiers. Don't let it
Yeah.
interfere with your job, and keep it clean. And I'm like, well, and it was on purpose that it was clean. I always want to make it clean because I want to reach everybody.
Sure.
But yeah, he was like, I'm a fan. And so we did it, and it just kind of, and it was kind of funny because that whole, hey, we're fighting for pensions. And then when I made him salty and I know it, the phone calls were different.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
would you be interested in making some political
Yeah.
videos? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, if I say yes, the price has gone up.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Right. Yeah. I'm really expensive.
And I was like, it was like that back then they didn't want me. Now I'm
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly,
right,
dude.
dude. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember watching those videos, and like, I mean, even subsequent videos after my knee hurts now, like they were shot like in the station, or you had, there weren't identifiers,
Yeah.
but if you're even remotely close to the industry, like that's a fire station
Oh,
bump.
yeah.
What the light bar looks like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is he getting away with
Oh, yeah.
videoing this at work? And like, they've got to have the support of somebody. How are they not getting in trouble?
Yeah. No, the chief was.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
And Tobin, same thing. When he first came, he introduced himself to everybody, and I was the PIO at the time, so I was like his right hand guy for a lot of things. And he's like, "Hey, I love it." He's like, "I'm a fan," which I'm making mental note. Okay, Chief's watching,
All right, Chief likes,
but he's
yeah.
like, but he said the same thing. He's like, "Hey, I think what you've been doing has been great. Don't change it. Don't let it affect. Don't make the department look bad. Don't let it affect your job. And don't again, same thing. No identifiers." And especially, and it's evolved, especially as promoting, because
Sure.
I can't be like, "Hang on, boot, I got to go do a video."
Right. Stand by. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll train later.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't even over the years, most of my filming in the station was
Off shift.
Off shift. Yeah. I would set aside a day and just have a bunch of different you know, content or scripts written and just film a bunch of videos and then release them subsequently, that kind of thing.
Well, even from us just doing this, like I can see how like you would, if you're in the middle of something, you don't want to be interrupted. Like you don't want to get a call or have to go answer a phone call or go train or leave. Like that would make it so hard because there's times, you know, we're just us trying to have a conversation about future content and we're at the same station on different trucks.
Yeah.
They'll get a call and they'll be gone, or we'll go shop, or we have, you know, we typically have a probationary guy, so we'll be out till noon training, and then we'll come back, and then he's at hazmat training. So like they'll go a whole shift where we don't even see each other. So I can imagine trying to get anything done while you're on shift would be a nightmare anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Of all your parodies, what's your favorite? Like,
I have a request for a parody. I need you. I don't know if it's been done, but I need somebody to do one to Black Betty. Oh, Black Betty needs an ambulance. Oh, I need somebody needs an ambulance. I need somebody to do that.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. My favorite. I think my favorite. Well, my favorite hasn't been made yet. It's recorded, but it hasn't been made yet.
Okay.
But no. My the ones that I've made so far. My favorite is Say Something Other Than Station 2, because one,
awesome.
It's like it's like a duet with me and my wife, which I felt like it wasn't the most popular one, which is funny because like as far as the views go, it's like whatever. It wasn't the most popular in terms of like how many people saw it, but I think it resonated. That one and My Knee Hurts Mount resonated the most with people, and I get the most comments of people saying that, and I love it because for me, I felt like the production value, like the artistic side of it. I was like, I love this, but
you're really proud of it.
And then I just made another one with the outfield. You know, Your Love Tonight. Like so, I did that one. I really liked that one. That one was another one that was just. We'd run on this same lady who always wanted us to check her sugar, and you know, I was like,
I'm gonna call you tonight.
Deanna.
I don't want to on you tonight. Yeah, and it's just like everybody's like, oh, and you would read the comments on there, and they're like, well, ours isn't Rosie, ours is Daryl or whatever.
Everybody's got
change the name.
Everybody's got one.
Everybody's got
So
one.
I just said to him, it's Deanna.
Yeah,
Deanna. We have everybody. We have a Rosie.
Oh, my belly.
Are there any that, I mean, obviously you've been doing this for a while now, and character wise, like I'm sure there's some days where like does it ever get old to you? And are there some videos you're like, okay, I'm kind of tired of hearing that, or I'm tired of being asked about that? I'm sure you get asked all the time about all your videos, podcasts, interviews.
Yeah. I don't think no. I just enjoy it. That's what I'm passionate about is doing that. So I'm realistic. I know that, you know, some are gonna hit and some are gonna miss, but like that's one thing that I think my wife is really good at reminding me, because sometimes it can get discouraging when you put a lot of time and effort into something and it misses, and you're
nobody cares.
You're like, fuck, that was hilarious. How do you? What is wrong with you?
You don't get it.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly, you know? And my wife's just like, well, remember, you know, you started out doing this because you enjoyed it. It was your passion. It's what you were about, and you never made videos based on how you thought they were going to be received. Because that's the thing is I didn't like, there some creators, and everybody does different things, but I feel like some creators worry a lot about the audience, and not to make that sound bad, but to me, I'm like, I think this is funny, so I'm putting it out. If you don't think it's funny, oh, whatever, go watch something else. I think they're all funny. I like them all. So, and that's really helpful with me staying true to myself and just, and not getting, and just reminding myself, like, they're not all going to hit. They're not all going to be bangers, but I love them all. It's fun. It's my creative outlet, and I just love to make people laugh. And even if it's one person, then it's a win.
Like Michael Jackson had a lot of songs that suck. You know what I mean? Like you can't make a hit every time.
Yeah.
But I think like your authenticity shows, and I was talking to Adam about this, like every one of your videos looks like you're having fun doing it. I mean, whether they're structured or broken down, a lot of people who maybe watch these videos probably don't realize the amount of time behind the scenes that goes into it, or the different shots, or when you have a video of you and it's 5 heads singing, like those are more than just 5 different takes with different cameras. Like, you know what I mean? So, but every single one seems to come across like you are having a good time doing what you're doing, even like your outtakes and stuff. And so I think that definitely shows through.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, because it is like I like to be transparent and authentic, and it is. I love making it. I love to have it is truly, it's a passion. It's fun to make. And what's funny is like when I was talking about, you know, writing the lyrics for that My Knee Hurts Now, like the videos that come like that, where I'm like, oh, and I make it like some of my biggest videos, I thought of the idea, and it was like from the thought of the idea, shooting it, editing it was 10 minutes.
Done.
millions and millions of views. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the frick? And then
Yeah.
it's like,
Yes.
oh, I spent like when I did the,
Artistic masterpiece.
Yeah, when I did like the Man This Car Is Whack to Baby Got Back.
Yeah.
And first of all, holy crap, there's so many lyrics in that song. I'm like, I rewrote those lyrics. So I sat on that song for like 3 months because I'd like hit writer's block. I'm like, oh, there we go. I get this whole thing and I produce it. And it did well. But I'm like, this should, for the amount of time and effort that went into that freaking video, man. I'm like, and then I have one, I'm like, you know, oh, I made it in 5 minutes and it got 1 million views in 2 hours. I'm like, what am I
Thought
even
of this
doing?
while I was taking a shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, what am I even doing? But it's been a great, it's been a social experiment. I tell you that.
For sure.
Do you have like a particular schedule you try to keep? Like, hey, I need a video every 2 weeks, or I need to try to do something once a month.
I should.
No, just whenever it comes
yeah. So I was burning the candle at both ends for a while. There, like basically from like 2018 to 2020. I went from in 2018 on Instagram, I had like 300 followers to like 2020 is when I hit 100,000, and I was putting out almost a piece of content a day.
Damn.
And it was awesome as far as growth wise, but man, I burned myself out for sure. And then also like it screwed up my priorities, you know, because like you know if that there's a lot of time going to that, which means there's a lot of time not going into probably the more important things,
Right.
You know, and so at probably around that time, I was like, all right, I need to slow this down. I need to reprioritize, and it probably has to do with also just maturing and getting older. My kids are getting older and been married longer, and you know the filters are less and less between my wife and I. Where she's just like, all right, you need to knock it out. I'm like, you know? It's like,
Did you find yourself like creatively hitting walls trying to do that much content? Like, did you find yourself just like, I don't even know what to do?
Oh yeah, 100%. Creatively hitting walls, and just having to really take a step back and like reevaluate why I'm even doing it, why I even started doing it.
Yeah.
Because you definitely start, like I always tell people, like if you're chasing the numbers, you're gonna lose every time. Because like there's nothing more quicker to rob your joy than comparing yourself to other people, you know, because that's a big one too. And then just like, oh, I didn't get that many likes or comments or views or whatever. Oh, what the heck? I thought that was fun, you know. And you're going to be your strongest critic. I definitely putting more time intentionally into really just kind of unplugging and getting away from things that really helped me out. And then being like, all right, a piece of content a day is great for growth, but it's not great for everything else. And so it's like, if my just overall like health, like mentally, spiritually, physically, all that stuff isn't there, then I can't expect my creative thing to be there either, because it's like a muscle. And so now I try. This year I've been very inconsistent, but I try to, if I could do like one a week, and that's the nice thing is like the platform has grown enough to where there's enough content backlog that people could go and see different things, and old stuff still pops up new on somebody's stuff. So I've kind of built the foundation to be able to slow down to one a week, and I think that's a good balance for my family life and that kind of stuff. So
do you, like when you're creating stuff, do you try to prioritize like, hey, this one's going to do well on YouTube, this is going to do well on TikTok, or you just like make one video and like throw it out on every platform and see what happens?
Yeah, I pretty much make one video and put it out on every platform. I do sometimes shoot the same video twice in different orientations because like, you know, people consume most of YouTube. I mean, people get it on their phones, but like YouTube TV, they're watching the videos and full screen because it's annoying to have it like when it's on your phone, it feels better. I mean, for me creatively, it is just like a knife straight to the heart. I hate filming vertically because it's just, but I mean, it's what it is, and it's
popular,
it's what the algorithms and the platforms push, you know. If you're going to put it on shorts or reels or TikTok, you know, you want it vertical, you know. If it's going to be long form, obviously horizontal. But the nice thing about, or if you're shooting in like 8K, then you can just shoot it one way and then crop it and it'll still look good. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's nice. But yeah, I just kind of shoot one way and put it out there. The platforms are definitely different. Sometimes I'll edit Sometimes I'll give you a little pop at the front of the punchline, which I, again, also creatively and the comedian side of me, like I love nothing more than a good setup for a joke, for a good punchline.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work on social media. You, like, especially on TikTok, you know, it's definitely a younger demographic on there, and they want that punch now.
Right now.
So you give them a little brief thing, and then you rewind to back how we got to that point. You know,
I see the videos on TikTok, some of them that do well. I'm like, this is so dumb and staged. Like, how are you entertained by this? Like, it's not organic. It's not funny. Whereas like you're making a skit to be funny. It's not like this. Watch me prank my husband, and the husband's clearly in on it. And this is such a dumb fucking video. Like, how does this do? This has 15 million views. Come on.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like also realizing, like when you're talking about like what can really kill your creativity and stuff, is like there's so many things that you don't know that people are doing, and you'll see pages like that where you see videos that have millions and millions of views, and it's like, well, they've got bot followers that are not even real. They paid for them, or they're boosting that video, so it's getting a ton, you know. And it's like, that's one thing that like I'm proud of, is I've never boosted a video. I've never paid for, you know, paid for followers and that. It's just all been organic growth, which I think that's the kind of growth that stays. You know? And people, you know, everybody wants that viral growth, and viral growth, it can be cool, but it's also
can disappear pretty quick, I would imagine.
Exactly, because they're like, this is really funny. Oh, I love this. I'm going to follow this guy. And then if it was something that was just a one-off video or maybe a little different, they may unfollow. So you might see those numbers start to do that. So if you have a more steady growth, that's usually one, you're going to have a much more dedicated audience and that are bought in. And it's just, it's, I don't know, I think it's more stable or whatever. So
no, that makes a lot of sense, because that way you kind of know they're watching your channel for you. It's not that one video that they found amusing. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
For sure.
Another question I have for you is it kind of goes along lines with My Car is Whack, but with the videos you make and some of the stuff being prank stuff, like, do you have anybody ever, I know you have a lot of fans, a lot of followers. Are there any haters? Like, do you have anybody who reaches out who, like, especially like with the cop stuff, you know, with the fire versus cop, but My Car is Whack. I mean, do you get backlash or people sending comments like, hey, dude?
Oh yeah, all the time. I mean, daily.
Even still?
Oh yeah,
daily.
Oh yeah,
I get on you daily,
dude. I get DMs. There's one guy, and so like on Instagram, it's always on Instagram.
Here we go.
It's always on Instagram, and I mean, I will say he's a hater, but he's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like the stuff he says.
I love
so
it.
you'll banter with him just to read some funny stuff.
That's the thing, is he's been messaging me for like 4 years.
Really?
Like 4 years.
Do you think it's one of the guys you work with?
No, this guy.
That would be awesome.
He's definitely a cop.
He's at the chow table. Fuck you, guy.
He's definitely a cop, and I think he's in like the Midwest or whatever. But he's been, for like 4 years, he's been sending me these freaking messages, and it's in my message request, so he doesn't know that I see them. I don't engage with him at all. But I'm like, I got to give it to you. This guy, he just fires off these things. I never say anything back, and I will read them to my crew sometimes. I'm like, this guy's
Still
hilarious.
laugh.
Like, 4 years. Oh yeah, dude. And I'm just like, man, you know. And my favorite thing, you know, when I get people that are like, you can tell this guy, he's talking crap, but he's probably not really a hater, because
he just wants you to
follows
engage.
me.
Okay,
It's like,
yeah.
if
Fair
you're
enough.
following me, like, but he's just funny. But there's people that you can tell that are like, it's like, oh, you're big, man. Like, you don't like me. You don't even know me. And like, I just love, like, I love that line from like Big Daddy. I'm like, you mad at your dad, not at me. I forgive you. You know? Just like,
He's right. I am. I hate my dad.
So,
I think social media commenters are the lowest form of humanity.
Oh, man.
I just do.
It's just, and that's the thing too, is like, it's always mind-boggling to me when I see creators get so like affected by comments. I'm like, you don't know these people. Who gives a crap what they say? Like, you're gonna say whatever, and I'm just like, you know what, whatever. Honestly, I'm like, keep talking all the trash, man. You're just boosting
Driving
the algorithm.
traffic.
You know. And the nice thing too is, at this point, like, every once in a while, I'll be feeling all like witty and snarky, and I'll fire off a comment, and then, or if I see one that comes in, I'll pin it, because I'm like, oh yeah, because then everybody else, I don't even have to say anything. People will jump in there, and then it just goes and goes. And if you get a good hater comment and you just pin it, and then it just
played yourself.
No, it's exactly it.
Thank you, sir.
That's exactly it.
That's a good strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Genius.
So obviously, you know, we're still fairly new, but when we started this, John and I and Adam, we all love comedy also, right? So one of the things I was telling John's like, God, you should be reading through these comments. He's like, some of these guys are assholes. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to respond to everyone. Like, here we go. So I got on one day and I just started firing back at this one guy, and dude, it was like in 10 minutes I was so drained. I was absolutely
There's no
wiped out.
winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't
You're
keep
not gonna
up.
win.
Yeah, and so I told him, I'm like, that was a bad idea, dude. Like, I thought it was funny. I thought it'd be fun to do, and it instantly put me in a bad mood. Like, I wanted nothing to do with anything. I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing that again.
I drove just recently. There's a video I saw, and you guys may have seen it. And it's a girl. She's, I don't know. I think she does a lot of fitness stuff and different things. But she was getting, I don't know if she is a firefighter or she's going through the academy. I think she did. It was like a collaboration with some fitness brand or whatever, and that brand had a lot of followers. But anyway, the video is she's in a pool. They're in their turnouts, and they push it's part of this academy, I guess. They push them in the swimming pool, and they're teaching them how to get out of your gear.
Yeah, we did.
I did. I had that training at GCU.
To get out of your gear.
Not to get out of my gear. To get out of the pool.
Yeah, we had that. That's what they're teaching them to get out of your gear.
Take your clothes off.
Treading. Yeah, like, and I'm like,
Does she? I can already see where this is going.
oh man. So like, she's like, this was.
I like it.
She said this was one of the toughest things I had to do in the academy. This and that. And all I said was, but why though? That's all I said. And then she replied and said. And she was very sweet. She was actually cool. She was just like, well, they want to teach us to know how to stay calm and self-rescue ourselves in the event without drowning in the event that we fall in a pool. And I was like, what? I said, so I'm guessing if you fall in a pool and then well, I'm just sitting there like reading that, like, okay, and then another guy jumps in, and now he's this guy's
a dick.
Yeah, and he's like, clearly you're not really a firefighter. I got 25 years experience. He's like, when you're in a zero visibility situation on a fire and you fall into a swimming pool, you need to know how to handle yourself. And so this is very valuable training. I was like, if I'm in a zero visibility situation on a fire and I fall into a pool, you're freaking wearing a mask. It's like scuba.
It's like scuba diving.
Yeah, you just don't have the U in there. It's like I'm all. And I said he said I said I don't know. I would just get out of the pool. Is what I said. And he said, well, clearly
you've never been in the deep end
I've fallen in
before.
17 pools.
Exactly. Yeah. He's like, clearly you've never been in this situation. I said, I've been in a pool in my gear, but it was part of training, and never once were we taught to take our gear off. I said, if I'm in a IDLH environment,
there's zero visibility.
If
the
anything,
last
you
thing
wanna
I'm
keep your
doing,
shit on.
exactly. I'm like, the last thing I'm doing is taking my gear off. Like, I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever. And I didn't say it, but I'm just like, okay. And then, but dude, I still get notification. This was like a month ago. Notifications, people responding, and look on there, and there's like 8,000 people liked your comment, and there's 100 responses, and it's just all. And at this point now, the other people are arguing with each other.
Yes, 100%.
But they just get going. But her video now has like 30-something million views, and it's all these people arguing about it. But it was just so funny because
beautiful.
it's like, but why though?
Fucking shitstorm you unleashed.
Yeah.
I love it. Clearly, you've never really.
Oh yeah.
No,
Like,
you're right.
Literally, like in your 25 years, how many pools have you fallen into,
Right.
sir?
Exactly.
Like, I've been
Especially
on
where
17
you've
and-
needed to take your gear off to get out. Like, you couldn't manage without that.
Put it this way: if you fell into a pool, the edge is literally right here.
Seriously. Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I'm thinking the same thing. I was like, he's like, I've had this multiple times. I was like, well then
Really?
you suck.
Heads up, dude.
Yeah. Look around you.
Some situational awareness training.
Exactly.
When you were talking about the training, I was like, are they training her to why are they taking off the gear? They like.
I thought you were going to say she was going to pop out in like a bikini
Oh,
or
no.
something.
No,
Like,
Yeah, I
that's
was
what
gonna be.
thought
I was gonna be
going
like, that's
on.
crazy.
Yeah.
Where's the video at?
What's her at?
No, she's just treading water. Like, so she's got her SCBA on and everything and a mask, and she falls in, and she takes the SCBA off, and
First thing you want to
lets
do.
it go.
Take
Yeah.
off your air.
She takes her air off, and I'm like, well, that thing's whatever. I'm like, whatever. She takes her air off, and a guy who's in the pool pulls the bottle away, and then she's like getting her arms out of her. She's like treading water with this arm, getting her arm out of her coat, and getting out of this one, and then she's like taking, and it's like, you got to learn that. People are like, you have to learn it really quick before your gear fills up with water, and I'm like, the amount of time it's going to take you to get your stuff, just get out of the freaking water. Like,
Well, I was thinking, like, are they? Where does this? apply to? Are you getting dropped in the middle of a lake? Like that
Well,
makes
yeah.
sense.
Are we
Like,
talking about
like,
SEAL training? Like, what are we doing?
Olympic sized pool in the backyard.
Now you got to swim
Standard
home.
here.
We dropped you off in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. If there's
Yeah,
no,
then get out of
if
it.
you fell out of a helicopter fully turned out on air in the ocean, you'd probably get out of your stuff.
But to your point, what's your plan now that there's smoke banked down to the top of the pool?
Well, now you got to go fish your gear out.
You got to go find your bottle because you still need air,
Yeah.
right? You still can't fucking
I
breathe.
want to talk to this man that has the answers. The guy that's been in
Yeah,
the
get that
15
guy
pools
on
or
here.
whatever.
Let's call him.
Oh, that's the funny thing is just the guys that get on there and they just got something to say and and there's just no sense in arguing with them because they've always got answers. They got all the answers and they know everything. I've been on the job for 30 years.
Statistics and-
It's like, I bet you have. Okay. Yeah.
With
30
all
years
your
of sucking.
with all your videos and pranks and all the stuff that you've covered, has anybody ever tried to, like, especially like your crew guys, has anybody ever tried to flip it on you and get videos of you? Like start their own deal, kind of pranking you or anything like that? Like anybody getting even?
No, actually, I haven't. What's been kind of a cool thing is like, I have not. I've had some people like not be fan. Like at my department, I mean, as far as I know, they're probably talking crap behind me. But as far as I know, everybody loves it. Guys will always ask to be part of it. Like if I'm going to film a video, hey, can we be in it? And so that's been really, really cool.
That's awesome.
There's one guy that I've scared for years, and he tries to get me. Oh, I'm gonna make a video scaring you. I was like, dude, I would love it, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't really had anybody try and like flip the script or anything like that. So, but
Soon, I'm sure before you leave, somebody will.
Yeah, for
oh
sure.
yeah.
And then one of the other things I want to ask is I read that you at one point you wanted to write a book.
Oh
You
yeah.
talked about wanting to write a book, so you're
Yeah.
definitely into, obviously with the kids, you've got kids, the family
Yeah.
space, especially keeping everything to where it reaches a broader audience. Did you ever write a book?
I have not yet, man. My problem is like I have ADHD and a million other things, like scheduling this, you know. There's probably so many people out there that think I'm a complete dick.
Oh, hey.
I was like, no,
It went fine.
I'm
Well,
like,
we did until you showed up.
I was gonna
No,
say, I'm
just
like,
kidding.
I'm
just
not.
kidding.
I'm just
Yeah.
incredibly unorganized, or like I just
Went
like
just fine.
my wife is definitely the schedule keeper, which I think is probably safe to say for most of our
Adam's
wives.
our wife.
Yeah.
Studio wife.
Studio wife.
But it's just I am the worst at like, I'll get overwhelmed because I'm like, all right, I gotta figure out this schedule or whatever, and then I'm like, oh, it'd be so funny if I made a video about this. And I start working on this video, and I was like, oh crap, he's like, hey man, just checking base. I'm like, oh, thank you for doing that. I'm sorry, I'm not blowing you off.
That's my life.
Yeah. So, that is still something that I would love to do. I would love to do. I would love to just with the character,
Yeah.
have it animated and have like a children's book series that would be entertaining
awesome.
for have it
That'd
be
be cool.
entertaining for
Really cool.
the kids, but also like if you're reading it to your kids as a parent, it'd be something that you could stomach and actually
Like it's got the adult
enjoy. It has
humor
the
or
adult
something. Yeah,
humor,
yeah.
but the kids will still find
Yeah,
go right
yeah.
over the kids' head, but they'd still find
Like
it funny.
SpongeBob or something.
Yeah.
Occasional like an
So-
adult joke in there.
Yeah.
And then what about cameos? I know you had an ad for doing cameos.
Yeah.
Did that
Oh,
did
yeah.
that hit?
Yep. I'm on Cameo, so I get a decent amount of cameos every month. That's a fun one, and that's just kind of, I mean, you get requests for anything and
Yeah.
everything, and I mean everything from,
Have you ever gotten anything where you're like, ooh, I'm not gonna say that.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do that.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, worst responders.
Yeah.
So I don't know if is it Joff or is it Jeff?
I think it's Joff. He's a Phoenix guy.
Yeah, he is.
I've never met
Oh,
him.
you never met him?
No,
Yeah.
I've never met him. I know who.
I think it is Joff.
I think it's Joff.
But we've talked on social media. Super cool guy. But they asked a couple of years ago. So I actually, because of this, I turned off business requests.
Yeah.
Because business requests you can charge a lot more, but I turned it off because I'm just like, that could be putting me in a bad position. But they said worst responders is the #1 meme page on the internet, and together we can. Well, it was like 2022 or 2023. It said together we can quit AMR 2022 or 2023 or whatever. And I was like, I
support
love
that.
you guys.
I support that.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not against it, but I'm like, I don't want to set myself up for some kind of,
Backlash.
slander, like
Yeah.
lawsuit or something because I slandered AMR or something like
Right.
that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, I love you guys, and hey, this is no hate, no shade.
Yeah.
I just respectfully decline. I can't do that. And they're like, we get it, and it was cool. But yeah, I've got all kinds of different requests, and I've had like, I got a DM. This was years ago. This is when I was like, I think I made it. I think I made it. When a guy said, hey, this may be weird, and I think I may have a fetish. And I'm like, all right,
Will
go
you sleep with
on.
my wife?
Not weird at all. Not weird at all.
He said, would you be willing for you and your mates to make some teasing videos where you're taking your boots off and talking about how hot and sweaty your feet are? He's like, if you're okay with this, I will pay you via PayPal. And I was like,
How many of those videos did you
I was
make?
gonna say. So how much did you charge him?
it was so funny. I
And
was
if you
like,
didn't, send us his info. 'Cause I'll do
Yeah,
it right
shit. I'll take
now.
my boots off.
that's
In.
that was before I was like, oh, $20, $20.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But no, I was like, ugh. And so I was like, no. So I screenshot it, whatever. And I first of all, I blocked the guy. And I told my wife, and she goes, well, how much? And I was like,
Right.
Yeah.
wait a minute.
I'll do
I was
my
like,
fee.
I mean,
Yeah.
This is the discussion we should have. Like,
Don't be so selfish.
Yeah. So, but anyway, and then what was so funny was this was years ago. I made a screenshot of it and I made a post about it and put it out there. And I said, if anybody's looking for a side gig, I got a job for you, whatever. And then this dude got in the comment section, outed himself because I made it anonymous.
Yeah.
I sent this to you in confidence and as a serious request, and you're making a joke on it. I was like,
Well.
okay, first off, you're sending it to satire comedy
Yeah.
page. So
Yeah.
this is
You're getting
thank
roasted,
you.
dude.
This is
Yeah.
material you gave me.
Right.
This fell into my lap. And yeah, it was so funny. But so many people were like, and like replying to him, like other firefighters, like, "Hey, dog, hit me up." And then he would reply like, "If you're just trying to, if you're just trying to poke fun at me, I'm not interested. But if you're serious,
I'm trying to get paid, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm
Hey,
serious.
A for effort,
Yeah,
man. You
yeah.
still-
I'm tired of working ambos for fucking side cash.
You should have sent that one over to the guys at Worst Responders.
I know that's like talking.
Got a gig for you.
And my wife and I talking about that. I was like, that was dumb, man. We're trying to pay off our house, and here. I am."
Fuck yeah. A couple feet videos?
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking here?
That's what I was like. I'm like, I want to do like, I'll put my arm in a boot and then be like, oh, my hand's so sweaty.
Got him.
That's funny.
Who are the worst responders? You said they're on our job?
Yeah, so I told you about this a while back, dude. So they have really funny videos. They do this little series where they're on an ambo, they're ambo partners, but one of the guys' name is Joff, and I don't know the other guy's name.
Oh, I think you showed me that.
Yeah, and so there's other dudes and other videos they have that I'm like, that guy looks familiar. I think that's a Phoenix guy. Well, I didn't know Joff was until Christian.
Is it Joff spelled like Jeff?
I don't know.
G off.
I think
Is it a
it's,
G off?
I think it's a J,
I
right?
think it's JOFF.
Oh,
Yeah.
Reminded me of that Washington's dream again. 2 ways to spell Jeff.
Yeah,
One the normal way.
I just watched that this morning. That's so funny.
And the stupid way with the G.
Christian was like, no, he's on. I don't know what shift he was on. He got hired on with us, and I was like, oh, I don't know. But
Okay.
when we first started this podcast, which again we're still pretty new, but I actually sent them a DM. And I didn't know they were Phoenix guys.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were here, but I know their landscape in the background looked very Southwest.
Yep.
And so I was like, I sent my message like, hey, buddy of mine and I started a podcast. We're firemen. It's kind of a roundtable thing. Like, we'd love to like interview you guys or ask you guys some questions. And I never heard back, but I was like, fuck those guys. And then, I found out they were Phoenix guys. And I'm like, oh, okay. That makes sense. They're probably busy, but.
They're not that bad.
That's wild to me though. Like, I mean, just you're like, yeah, I don't know that guy. I'm like, oh, see,
Yeah.
because Daisy Mountain, we have 150 guys, and like,
We have 150 guys that called him sick last shift.
I know, dude. It is wild. It is wild. Like, and I got, I've got buddies on Phoenix and stuff, and talking to one of my buddies, he's like, it's awesome that he's like, it's great working for a big city and stuff like that. He's like, but he's like, I do envy you sometimes. Like, he's like, like all 150
that would be
guys.
cool.
And he's like, and just the mere fact that you like everybody on your truck.
Yeah.
He's like, there are days where he's like, I don't like anybody.
He's like, oh, this motherfucker.
No.
And yeah, he's talking about, working years on the job and you run into somebody you never met and they've been on the same amount of time as you. I'm like, that's wild.
It's like Bob, the guy that just took the spot on his ladder. Like, he's got how many years on?
I don't know, more than 20. I think he's got like 22, 23.
22, 23 years. I got 17 on, and we've never fucking met.
That's
Until he
wild.
took the
Yeah.
spot.
That's
on stage.
wild.
Yeah.
I think he was at his old station for mean, 15 plus years, 20
Yeah,
years.
just never crossed. It's crazy.
It's like we're definitely growing, and we're getting ready to hire another 21 in February, and because we're opening another station, and then there's potential to get another station, so that would put us at like 8 stations, and it's definitely getting like there's one guy on our department that I've never met. I
Really?
if he walked in the room, I'd have zero clue who he was. Like, so I'm like, this is different.
Who are you here to see, bud?
Yeah, exactly.
Right now?
Yeah, exactly. Where'd you get that shirt? Yeah. Like,
Oh man.
but yeah, it's that's definitely foreign to me. My sister works for Glendale, and
Oh, does
so
she?
they've
Oh, does
kinda
she?
got
Oh,
that.
cool.
They've got that a little bit there too, though.
What truck
So.
does she work on?
She is on ladder 152. I preset when I went through medic school. I did 5 weeks on 153, and then did a few weeks up in Daisy too. And yeah,
We're going code 3 deep into.
Yeah, deep.
And we passed them at a fucking intersection. We're going code 3. They're sitting there, they look at us like,
Give me the old. Hey.
and then when we're almost on scene, they try to take the call. Like, dude, you just saw us. We're clearly in your city. Oh, yeah, let's take
And you know how it is in the heat of the moment, man. Like
Oh,
you're-
yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
So,
it's
like-
funny. I mean, we have like. It's funny because my sister, she used to be at 154, and she said the same thing. She's like, "Oh, 33 is never available unless
Yeah.
it's a fire," you know.
It goes both ways.
And
I'm
I used,
sure.
oh yeah, and I
Well,
used,
33 did run 25 calls that year.
Yeah.
yeah. And she was telling me like, yeah, this was years ago when she was there. She's like, yeah, I'm like, where are you at? She's like 150 Phoenix. I was like, oh, okay. that was the joke
That's
there for
awesome.
a while.
I love
yeah.
that.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now we put a part-time truck in their station just to help them run calls.
Yeah.
A Phoenix truck running out of Glendale.
It's crazy.
Still pisses me off. Why are we there?
Johnny's a little bitter about that.
Still. What else you got?
That's it, man. I've exhausted my set of questions, man. I'm very impressed at everything that you've done, kind of how you got started, like we talked about. What for you, like, what is the future for your character, for Firefighter Fenton? Have you ever thought about branching out
That's a
into
good
other
question, yeah.
characters? You still gonna
Well,
keep
you got
hitting it
Donald
hard?
Trump nailed.
Yeah, I
So
say
there's
DJT
that at
is
least.
solid.
Yeah. You know, I definitely have some other characters. You know, like I said, some other opportunities that have come up. Like, I'm also with Fire Department Coffee.
Yep.
That's been a huge, amazing experience, and just like meeting, everybody at Fire Department Coffee is amazing.
How'd that come
Actually,
about
I
for
did
you?
have a question for you about that. Yeah, but
So for years, obviously I was making content. Jason Jason the ball guy, for
Yep.
anybody
Okay.
who doesn't
Yep.
know.
Huge fan.
yeah,
So, yeah.
Love his stuff too,
Yes.
man.
Yeah, so Fire Department Crown. So Jason, him and I had, I can't remember when I think he started making content in like 2014. And it was funny because he had seen My Knee Hurts Now, and it was kind of the same thing. Nobody was doing it, but he started out with like, I forget what his page was called, but National Geographics, but it was spelled different, like graphics, PHIX or whatever. And he had an Australian accent. And he said the best thing he did was to lose the accent. And then he actually got a cease and desist from National Geographic. Like, hey,
really?
yeah, this is too close to us.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So he changed it. And then, but it was funny. So him and I had messaged back and forth and like, hey, we should collaborate. And it just probably because, we're both busy and I'm also incredibly unorganized. It just never happened. And then it wasn't until, so he came on. The thing that he did better than I did was I didn't really get consistent until 2018. Like I made a video in 2011 and I made one video a year, one of those music video parodies for the banquet.
For the banquet, yeah.
A year until 2018, and it wasn't
Wow.
until 2018 where a guy, his name's Aram Cho. He's a cop in California, Southern California, and he has the page 911 Strong. And he's like, "Hey man, I've been a big fan of yours. Whatever, we should collaborate. And I'm like, you want to with me?" And he's like, "Look, dude, I don't care if you have one follower or a million. Like, if you're funny, you're funny. Yeah, let's do it." And so we collaborated, and Aram was like a mentor for a while. And then there was another guy that had a big page that was like, "Hey, look, you should seriously consider doing more consistent short form comedy because I think you're missing the boat." And that was when I was like 2018. It was in November, and I was like, for the month of December, I'm going to put out one piece of content every day and see what happens. And I went from 300 followers to 3,000 followers in
Damn, just
1
in that
month.
month.
Wow.
Just in that month. And I was like, all right. And I was like, all right, like this is pretty fun. And I started doing it, and then I did that for
Yeah.
2 solid years.
Damn.
And it did blow up pretty good. But then right at the end of 2020, like November of 2020, Jason was like, "Hey, dude, we should seriously make this happen. We've talked about it for years. Let's collaborate.
Where does Jason work?
So he's
Florida,
in,
right?
Yeah, he's in Florida, Riviera Beach.
Yeah. All right.
So he's like, I'm with Fire Department Coffee. I'm the vice president. Would love to have you come out. We can collaborate on our own stuff, but also collaborate some videos for Fire Department Coffee. And he's like, we'd love to have you come out. We'll fly you out. We'll pay you whatever we want to do 4 videos. I was like, okay, yeah. And that was kind of like the first date, if you will. So I went out there and it was February of 2021 in Rockford, Illinois. Freaking freezing. I mean, so cold. And it was so crazy because we were out there for 3 days and we made 2 videos, like 2 bigger production videos. And one of them, we were spraying, it was a St. Patty's Day video, and we were spraying each other with straight streams with green water, and it was 17 degrees outside.
Oh,
yeah. It was brutal.
Ooh, I'm cold.
And, it was 17 degrees outside, but we had an absolute blast. I had so much fun, met everybody, and I came back and was back for like 2 days, and they called like Luke and Jason and Brad, like all the officers of the company really were like, hey, we think that you're one of us. We kind of
cool.
we loved having you come out. This was so fun. We would love to make this a regular thing. We'd like to invite you on board with Fire Department Coffee.
yeah.
And I was like, absolutely. And so I came on and so I've been with Fire Department Coffee now for coming up on 4 years, and it's been a blast. And now, I mean, like I just got back last Friday. I was in Illinois for a week. And now we film for 3 days and we do like at a minimum 20 videos.
Wow.
And we've got it down now where there's a system
now.
and we've got a full team and we've got, audio and camera crew and all that stuff. And it's a legit thing. And everybody's the more we do it, everybody's getting better and better, like nailing lines, first take.
Yeah.
We've got it down to a science, and it's getting more and more productive and more and better. And the quality's going up more and more. And it's been so much fun. So for me, for my future, obviously I still have the dream of doing the kids book.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying kind of making the content now, but I also know that, I'm not going to be a firefighter forever, and I'm at 20 years, and I'm probably going to do another 9.5, like 4.5, and then drop for 5. So I'd be 30 all said and done. And then I'd only be 51. So now I'm like, and I want to transition some of my I have another side page. It's called Fenton Outdoors.
Okay.
And so I want to I want to introduce comedy into the hunting space. There's not a ton of that.
I think that's perfect.
So, yeah. And I know there's a lot of firefighters that hunt. And I
You still get to your target market. And
and I'm still, and like, I'm very new to hunting. I've only hunted for 2 years, 3 years, 2.5 years, whatever. Started archery hunting and loved it. Actually just was hunting a couple days ago. My brother-in-law got a cow tag, and we shot a cow elk. And so it's just been really cool. So I would like to kind of press into that a little more and just, I don't know, man. I think for the future for me is just to continue to do what I love, make the videos and music, and then obviously I want to bring my kids along the way. And
yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty good place to end.
Yeah, I think that's great, man. I appreciate.
Go where can everybody find you at? Plug yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything.
Yeah. It's Firefighter Fenton on all platforms except for X, because they don't allow that many characters, so it's Firefighter Fent. But if you search, that sounded like I said F you. If you search, at Firefighter Fenton on any of the platforms, you'll find everything. I got them all: Facebook, TikTok.
Where can you buy Fire Department coffee?
Firedepartmentcoffee.com. You can also buy it in. It depends on where you're at in the country, but Walmart. Walmart's everywhere.
Nice,
Walmart's
man.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yep, you can buy it in Walmart.
That's
you can
huge.
buy
In
retail
Walmart.
space.
Yep. We're in retail. Yep. So we're in the Safeway family of stores. I know it's not that, but like Vons and Safeway, Albertsons. We're in all Safeway, Albertsons, Vons, Myers if you're back east or like the Midwest. And we're in some. Okay, I won't say that because I don't know if I can. But we're Myers, Safeway, Albertsons, Vons, Walmart. That's the biggest.
That's huge. Yeah.
The biggest news.
Real.
That's the most
massive,
recent.
man.
That's the most recent
Congrats.
one. Yeah, thank you. And we just expanded into Canada.
Dang.
in Walmart. So that's-
International,
Yeah.
dude.
That's huge.
So
Dirty
we're-
Canadians.
I drink coffee. It's all right.
So yeah.
So in honor of that, we know we have a Fireside mug for you.
Oh, dude, thank you.
We know that
Dang.
we know you do your coffee. We know you like your coffee. We thought, we want to get you something nice to remember us by.
That is awesome. Thank you guys.
So stuffed inside of that is the engraving was done courtesy of
It's gonna be. He's my rescue partner right now. Is Dustin Patton.
so he's got a site on
Yeah,
the
I'm trying to
socials.
find it. His site is DP Woodworks AZ, but he does all sorts of lasers and engraving and stuff. So he took care of that.
It's
For
not
us.
the kind of DP you think.
Yeah,
It's
so-
his initials.
DP
Yeah,
Woodworks
they
AZ.
are initial.
Check him out.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
our
check 'em
official
out.
engraver. And then inside the mug, we have another kind of pseudo sponsor, but they're called SkyMD. They do hydration stuff, obviously
yeah.
with your wildland stuff.
Twist off.
We get got some packs in there for you just for some hydration.
Thank you.
And kind of to close it out, just kind of a last little nod sponsorship to Patriot Tactical.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got a little care package from those guys, some knives. Get you guys out and check them out. PatriotTactical.com. Ammo bags, ammo cases, cleaning mats, knives.
Yeah, fucking range bags.
Yeah, range
Lots
bags.
of
They've,
cool
they've got
shit,
it all. So thank you to those guys.
Yeah.
Big thank you to those guys. And just want to say thank you to Firefighter Fenton
Yeah,
for
thank
coming
you,
and
man.
checking
Thank
us
you guys so much
out.
for
It's
having
great
me. Thank you
having
for
you,
this.
man.
It's
Thank you.
great, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You
Appreciate
came in and dude, you're welcome here anytime.
Hey,
I know
yeah.
you're a busy guy, but
Appreciate
Yeah,
you
that
guys.
was
come,
great,
come
man.
join us whenever you want, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, man.
All right, episode 43 in the books.
In the books.
All
All right.
right. All right.
Probably the best.
Thanks, guys.
Definitely the